Today we will start the next chapter, that is Mahatma Gandhi and the Nationalist Movement. From the very first slide, there is an image of Mahatma Gandhi. You can understand that we are going to study mainly about Mahatma Gandhi and the movements which were undertaken by Mahatma Gandhi in the freedom struggle of India. So, if you look around in the world, every country is associated with a great leader. If we talk about US, then US is associated with George Washington. He is called as the father of US because he played an important role in American War of Independence. If we talk about South Africa, the racist discrimination was ended due to the effort of Nelson Mandela. So Nelson Mandela is the foremost important leader of South Africa. The same way, if we talk about the Italian unification, then Garibaldi played the most important role. Bismarck played the most important role in Germany. The same way, in India, the most important leader as far as the nationalist movements are concerned, that is Mahatma Gandhi. So here we will talk about the father of the nation, that is Mahatma Gandhi, and his life and what movements were initiated by him. We will read about the course of those movements. We will read about the major decisions which were taken by Mahatma Gandhi. First of all, we will discuss the previous happenings before the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi in the freedom struggle of India. So how the nationalism started there in India. Earlier the nationalist movement or nationalism was started in Europe, that is in 18th century. Thereafter it moved to India, but in India the nationalism was against the colonialism. So how the nationalist feeling started to be developed in India? Because we have discussed about the 1857 revolt. That revolt could not be successful because there were many limitations of that revolt. It could not be properly coordinated. Objectives and aim of every rebellious leader was not the same. It was started well before that time, so it was not started at the right time. And the people who were fighting against the Britishers, they were not having modern weapons. So there are many limitations about the revolt of 1857. As a result, it could not be successful. For a long period of time, there was no such big movement against the Britishers. Finally, by the end of the 19th century, there started a nationalist feeling among the people of India, and that led to the development of nationalist movement in India. So how the nationalism started to be developed in India, that we will discuss here. First of all, the growth of Indian nationalism. The Indian National Congress, it was founded in 1885, that is December 1885, and it was founded in the Bombay session in 1885, and it was founded by 72 delegates, and the founder of Congress is known as A.O. Hume, Allen Octavian Hume. He was also an Englishman, but he founded the Congress in India. And the leaders who were 72 leaders in the Congress in the first session, they were from the different parts of the country. So it was a group of the people of diverse background. A.O. Hume, he is called as the father of Congress, that is Allen Octavian Hume. W.C. Banerjee was the first president of the session of INC, that is in 1885. 3 phases has been observed by the INC, Indian National Congress, and these 3 phases were the phases of the moderates, then extremists era, and then the Gandhian era. The earlier members of the Congress used to be very loyal to the Britishers. They were moderates, they were liberals. But later on, the baton of the Congress went into the hand of the extremists like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal. So these were the radical leaders. So there was an era of these extremist leaders. Thereafter, after 1915 onward, That era is called as the Gandhian era because Gandhiji arrived in 1915 in India from South Africa. Now, we will talk about Mahatma Gandhi. So here I will give you a brief life sketch of Mahatma Gandhi. So, Mahatma Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869. So, his birth was on 2nd October 1869 and he died on 30th January 1948. He was assassinated by a person, that is Nathuram Godse. So first of all, he was born on 2nd October 1869. He was born in Porbandar, and that is in Gujarat. He was born in a middle class family, and his father's name was Karamchand Gandhi, that is also called as the Kaba Gandhi, and Putli Bai was his mother. He was married with Kasturba Gandhi. She has also played an important role in the freedom struggle of India. And he had 4 sons, and their names were Harilal, Manilal, Ramadas and Devdas. So these were the 4 sons of Mahatma Gandhi. He went to England for higher studies. The initial education of Mahatma Gandhi was completed in Porbandar, that is in Gujarat. For higher studies, he went to England, and after achieving the higher education, he went to South Africa, and there he remained from 1893 to 1940, and there he practiced the legal practice. So he was an advocate in South Africa. In South Africa, there he also fought against the racial discrimination. So there he played an important role of an advocate. He found a new weapon of fighting against the oppressor, and that is called as the Satyagraha, call for the truth. It was a novel method of struggle against the racial discrimination in Africa. Later on, this Satyagraha weapon was also used by Mahatma Gandhi in India against the Britishers to get the freedom for India. So this is a brief life sketch of Mahatma Gandhi. You must be aware about Mahatma Gandhi because he is an important leader of India. So a leader announces himself. So how he became an important leader in India? Earlier he played an important role in Africa. There he played the role of an advocate, as well as he also fought against the racial discrimination in Africa. But how he became an important leader in India, that we will discuss here. So when he was in Africa, he was quite young. You can see from the image also. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in 1915. In January 1915, he returned to India after 20 years from South Africa. So he spent 20 years in South Africa fighting against the racial discrimination. And he was much successful in that fight against the racial discrimination. Historian Chandran Devnasan has rightly remarked that South Africa was the making of Mahatma Gandhi. So firstly, he started fighting against the oppressor in South Africa, and that was the beginning of his, we can say that, political career. So it was the making of Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa. There he became a leader of those people who were racially oppressed. And the same way, he also started this kind of reformation movement in India. It was in South Africa that Mahatma Gandhi adopted his techniques of non-violence and Satyagraha. So these were the two major weapons of Mahatma Gandhi, that is non-violence, ahimsa, and Satyagraha. So these were the two weapons with the help of which he could win the fight in South Africa. Later on, these two weapons were also used by him in India against the oppressor, that is the Britishers. So he was against all kind of oppressions, and he also criticized those Indians who used to discriminate with the lower class people in India, because it was also the same kind of situation as it used to be in Africa, because their people were discriminated on the basis of the color of their skin. But in India, the people were discriminated by the upper class people on the basis of their caste. So the same kind of oppression he could see in India as it used to be in Africa, which he experienced while working in Africa as an advocate. So he wanted to end all these kind of discrimination in India. So he started working for it in India. Now, a difference in India and Gandhi left in 1893 and when he returned in 1915. So almost 20 years after he returned back to India. So we can imagine that India was not having the same kind of situation, same kind of condition when he left India in 1893. So India was changed in terms of many things. So what changes he observed when he returned back to India, that we are discussing here. The India that Mahatma Gandhi came back to in 1915 was different from that when he left in 1893. So after 20 years, a lot of changes took place in India. Although still a colony of the British, it was far more active in the political sense. India was a colony of Britishers when he left India in 1893, and when he returned back, still it was a colony of the Britishers, but the political situation in India was completely changed during this period. So what changes took place? As we discussed that Congress was founded in 1885, thereafter there were many changes in political scenario of India. The Indian National Congress now had become a big party, and it had branches in most of the cities and towns of India. So the Congress party, which was founded in Mumbai in 1885, now it grew into a bigger party, and it had several branches in different parts of the country. Almost in every major cities and towns it was having its branches, and many people started joining the Congress, and there were many people around India who were playing an active role in Congress party. So the political situation was changed when Mahatma Gandhi returned back to India. Through the Swadeshi Movement of 1905 to 7, it had greatly broadened its appeal among the middle class. Earlier in Congress there used to be the upper class people, but after the Swadeshi movement, many middle class people also joined the Congress party. So why the Swadeshi movement was started in India, let me tell you. Bang Bang, or the division of Bengal, took place in 1905, and it was done by Lord Curzon. So a movement was initiated by the Nationalist leader at that time against the division of Bengal, and that movement is known as the Swadeshi movement. And under the Swadeshi movement, they boycotted the foreign goods, foreign clothes, and they promoted the Indian made clothes which were manufactured in India, like khadi was promoted. Many other items which were produced in India and which was made by the Indian manufacturers, they were promoted in the Swadeshi movement. And there were some leaders who played an important role in the Swadeshi movement. Mainly it was the most powerful in the region of Bengal state. We will read more about the Swadeshi movement. So that movement had thrown up some towering leaders. So there were some leaders who became quite popular because of the Swadeshi movement in India, and these were the three leaders. You can see them also from the image. This is Lala Lajpat Rai, this is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and this is Bipin Chandra Pal. So these were the Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who was from Maharashtra, Bipin Chandra Pal was from Bengal, and Lala Lajpat Rai was from Punjab. So we can say that these were the three leaders, and they were popularly known as the Lal, Bal and Pal. Lala Lajpat Rai was from the northwestern part of India, that is Punjab. Think over it. Second was the Bipin Chandra Pal. He was from the West Bengal, that is in the eastern part of India. And from South India, that is Maharashtra, it was Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So these were the three prominent leaders who emerged out of the Swadeshi Movement, which was initiated in 1905, and they became the towering figure in India, but all the three belonged to different parts of India, three diverse parts of India. They were away from each other. Punjab and Maharashtra is quite far from each other. The same way, Punjab and West Bengal is also equally far from each other. But still, these three were the leaders who are known as the extremist leader of Congress, and they were having almost the same kind of ideology, and these three leaders played an important role in the Swadeshi movement. Because of these three leaders, Swadeshi movement was successful in three different parts of India, in all the direction of India. Like in South India, it was made popular by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. In Eastern India, it was made popular by Bipin Chandra Pal. And in northwestern part of India, it was made popular by Lala Lajpat Rai. So it was a way to unite the people of India, and that created a nationalist feeling among the mind of the people, and we started believing that the Indians who are in the eastern side, southern side, as well as in the western side, they all are the part of the same country, that is the India. So in this way, it played an important role in the development of nationalist feeling or nationalism in India. While these leaders advocated militant opposition to colonial rule, so they believed in militant opposition, not in the non-violence. So these leaders are called as the radicals or extremists. So they were different from the Mahatma Gandhi. These were the radicals. And there was a group of moderates who believed in the liberal ways to attain the freedom. They did not believe in the opposition through the militant ways, through the violent ways, who preferred a more gradual and persuasive approach. Among these moderates were the Gopal Krishan Gokhale. So here an important leader is Gopal Krishan Gokhale and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Gopal Krishan Gokhale is also known as the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi. So we can imagine that what would be the way of Mahatma Gandhi to attain the freedom. It would be a liberal way. It will be a moderate way, because his guru was also moderate, that is Gopal Krishan Gokhale. Second was the Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was also an important figure of that time, but later on he left the Congress. He was not in Congress, and he made a new party that is called as the Muslim League. Later on, this Muslim League became a very important party of the Muslim community, and it demanded a separate Pakistan. As a result, in the creation of Pakistan, the most important role was played by the Muslim League, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the most important leader of Muslim League, and he is also known as the Qaid-e-Azam, and he is also called as the father of the Pakistan. Importance of the speech of BHU. Now Mahatma Gandhi, when he came to India, he was almost anonymous. Nobody knew him at that time. So how he became a towering figure in Indian politics at that time? Which event is considered to be the most important part of his life, which made him an important leader in India? About that we are talking here. So how he announced himself as the leader of India? So it was BHU. It is a short name of Banaras Hindu University. Gandhiji's first major public appearance was at the opening of Banaras Hindu University, that is in February 1916. So the foundation of BHU was laid down in 1916, and Gandhiji reached there and he was invited there, and that was the beginning of his political career in India. It was merely a statement of fact that Indian nationalism was an elite phenomena, a creation of lawyers, doctors and landlords. Earlier, the nationalism in India was carried on by the rich class people, aristocratic class of people. Common man was not a part of this nationalist movement of India, and these were mainly the lawyers, doctors and landlords. Gandhiji charged the Indian elite with a lack of concern for the laboring poor. So when he reached in BHU, at that time there were many great leaders who were very much popular, who were very towering leader of their time, and these included Srimati Annie Besant. She was an Irish lady and she also started Home Rule movement in India, and she was a towering figure in Indian politics. Madan Mohan Malviya, who was also a philanthropist, he gave a large donation in the creation of BHU. And when we compare Mahatma Gandhi with these towering leaders of that time, he was not having that great popularity at that time. He was a very small leader, but after the BHU, he became a very popular leader. How he became a popular leader? Because he was asked to give a speech. So what kind of speech he gave there that attached him to the general public? So Gandhiji charged the Indian elite with a lack of concern for the laboring poor. So when Mahatma Gandhi's turn came there to speak from the stage, he saw that on the stage mainly there were the rich class people, aristocratic people, and there were the gathering, and that also included the rich class people, the elite class people. So there was hardly anybody who was from the lower class, who was from the peasant class. So the poor people were totally absent from that inauguration of BHU. So Mahatma Gandhi charged the people who were sitting on the stage, who were from the aristocratic background. He charged them, he criticized them for not being considerate or to the laboring and the poor people of India. Gandhiji chose to remind those present of the peasants and workers. He asked them to think about the peasants and the working class people who constituted a majority of the Indian population. So the majority of people in India used to be poor. They were from the lower class or they were from the peasant community. So Mahatma Gandhi asked them to think about a majority of people, and without involving this majority class of people in the nationalist struggle, we could not be successful. So he charged, or he blamed for aristocratic people, not for being considerate to the poor and low class people. The first public announcement of Gandhiji's own desire was to make Indian nationalism more properly representatives of the Indian people as a whole. So this was the beginning of his political career in India, and in this way he announced that what he is going to do in the future. His intention was quite clear. He wanted to involve the common people in the nationalist struggle. He wanted to involve the lower class people in the nationalist struggle. So he wanted to become a leader of the common people or general public, not of the aristocratic people only. Like the earlier leaders used to be there, they were all from the aristocratic background and they were not having any concern with the general public. But Mahatma Gandhi showed his concern to the general public, to the lower class people, to the peasant community, and he wanted to involve them in the freedom struggle. So he wanted to become the leader of the general public, which was majority in number. And he thought that without involving these people, lower class people, peasant class people, we cannot achieve the independence. And he said that we cannot achieve the independence for next 100 years if we would not involve these people in the freedom struggle. So their absence from that gathering was unfortunate, according to Mahatma Gandhi. And he blamed that the leadership who were available there, they were from the elite class people. They are responsible for not coming of these people in that gathering which was there at the time of the opening of BHU. So after this speech, Mahatma Gandhi became very popular among the common people, and he wanted to become a nationalist leader, and he wanted to fight for the cause of the common people. The very next year, in 1917, an issue came in his lap, and in this way he was able now to fight against the Britishers for the common people. So what was that issue that we will discuss here? That issue was of the Champaran Satyagraha. It was in 1917. Bihar Indigo Plantations, European owners and exploitation of the peasantry. As we discussed in the rebels and Raj, that why the Britishers were keen to annex the Awadh region. Because the land of Awadh region, that included the eastern UP and Bihar, was very fertile because it is irrigated by the Ganga and its tributary rivers, and it was best for the cultivation of indigo. And indigo was required in large quantity in the British industries, especially in the British textile industries at that time. So, this region was used later on after the annexation of Awadh for the cultivation of indigo. So, indigo is a kind of crop which was cultivated in the fertile alluvial soil. But if it is continuously cultivated for some years, the land also loses its fertility and it becomes totally unfertile land. And because of the cultivation of indigo, now farmers were not able to produce enough food which could fulfill their requirement. So the peasants were oppressed very much by the British government for the cultivation of indigo, and they were also oppressed by taking the heavy revenues from the people. So they turned against the Britishers as far as the issue of the indigo was concerned, and they wanted that the indigo cultivation should be stopped in their region. So that movement was the movement against the indigo plantation. So European exploitation was there of the peasantry. Peasants were compelled to cultivate indigo, approximately 3/20 part of the land under the Tinkathia system. Gandhiji reached Champaran on the request of the peasants and started Satyagraha. And an important part in this Satyagraha was also played by Ramchandra Shukla. So many peasants met Mahatma Gandhi and they thought that Mahatma Gandhi is a leader of common man, and they requested him to put forth the issue of indigo cultivation, and they asked him that he should continue a movement against the indigo cultivation. So on the request of these people or these peasants, Mahatma Gandhi started the Champaran Satyagraha against the indigo plantation. Popular support threatened the British and they bowed before Gandhi, and his first Satyagraha became victorious. So when Mahatma Gandhi reached in Bihar for the Champaran Satyagraha, he won a popular support because the words reached in the common people that Mahatma Gandhi is the only leader who is talking about the poor and peasant class people. So he won a popular support from that area. So under the pressure of Mahatma Gandhi and his popular support, the British had to bow before Mahatma Gandhi, and the demand which was put forth by Mahatma Gandhi that indigo plantation should be stopped in this area, that was accepted. So it was the first victory of Mahatma Gandhi in the soil of India after the Africa. Then there was another movement. The very next year in 1918, it was again started by Mahatma Gandhi, and it was started in his home state, that is Gujarat, and it is known as the Kheda Satyagraha. So Gandhiji was involved in two campaigns that year in the home state of Gujarat. Firstly, he participated in the Ahmedabad, that is the textile mill strike, and it was in February-March in 1918. So there were many mills in Ahmedabad, and as you know that maximum mills in Ahmedabad are of cotton textile. So there were the mill workers. They wanted that their salary should be increased. It was very low. So they wanted their wages should be increased. So they approached Mahatma Gandhi and they asked Mahatma Gandhi to support them in their struggle against the factory owners, and they wanted that their salary should be increased. So Mahatma Gandhi supported them. As a result, under the pressure of Mahatma Gandhi and his public support, the mill owner were ready to increase the salary of these workers. The demand of the worker that their salary or their wages must be increased up to 50%. But the entire demand of 50% could not be accepted by the owners. They also showed their inability to Mahatma Gandhi. But there was a compromise between the factory owner and these workers association, and that compromise led to the increase in the salary, and it was the hike of 35%. So because of the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi of the Ahmedabad mill workers movement, the workers were able now to get 35% increased salary. So that was another victory of Mahatma Gandhi, and it also made him popular in his home state, that is Gujarat. Secondly, he joined the peasants in Kheda district of Gujarat, and this is known as the Kheda Satyagraha. So what was Kheda Satyagraha? Kheda is in Gujarat, and because of the bad season for the crops that year, there was not good crops in the Kheda district. But the revenue rate was very high, and the peasants were suppressed by the government that they should deposit the revenue in time. So the peasants wanted that their revenue should be remitted. Their tax should be remitted. So it was a no tax campaign which was started by the peasants, but the peasants could not be successful. So they approached Mahatma Gandhi for the support, and Mahatma Gandhi also led that movement for these peasants against the Britishers, and as a result the Britishers had to bow before Mahatma Gandhi, and their revenue was remitted finally. So this was the third victory of Mahatma Gandhi in the homeland, that is India. So we can see that the first major movement of Mahatma Gandhi, that is Champaran Satyagraha, it was started in Bihar. So here it is Champaran. The second movement was Ahmedabad, and here it is also Kheda. So Kheda and Ahmedabad both are close to each other. So these were the three movements which were started by Mahatma Gandhi. So Kheda and Ahmedabad. This is Kheda and this is Ahmedabad. So these two movements were started by Mahatma Gandhi. So we can see that he became popular in Bihar, that is in eastern India, and he also became popular in Gujarat, that is in western India. So east and west, Mahatma Gandhi was believed by the people, and he became popular in two extreme states, that is Gujarat and Bihar. So we can say that it was the making of a national leader, that was Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi was becoming a national leader, and he was becoming popular throughout the Indian subcontinent after these two struggles.